Hey there, I'm the Mad Catster and I'm glad to see you here. So today was D-Day in McBroom land. So did the foreclosure go forward or did it get postponed again? Let's jump into it and I'll let you know. So storm clouds are brewing and they're coming right over the McBroom's house because today, despite all of the postponements and all of the backtalk and gossip and denials, the foreclosure happened, the McBroom's house has sold, and as I figured it would, it went back to the bank, which is every foreclosure sale I've done, almost every single time it's gone to the bank because the bank doesn't want to lose their investment, so they'll always bid the outstanding amount on the note, which is the mortgage, in order to protect their investment. And in this case, it was true. It sold for the opening bid of $9,074,909.66, and it went to the lender. And so the McBrooms are on their way to eviction. They are now officially homeless. And despite what Catherine McBroom deny, Austin McBroom deny, it's true, it's happened. And this is Austin McBroom immediately after the foreclosure sale. Anyways, I also checked online today to look at all of the cases. There's still nothing. I'm just surprised there's still nothing that's pending. And unlike what I thought was going to happen, I really expected the McBrooms to file for bankruptcy in order to stop the foreclosure, and they didn't do that. I'm not quite sure why. So we're going to be looking to see what are they going to do. They're going to have to find new house to live in. I don't know what they're going to do in terms of being able to afford that. Usually what happens at a foreclosure sale is if the house sells for more than what the outstanding mortgage is, then the balance would go to the McBrooms. But in this case, it didn't. So there's nothing for the McBrooms to take from this sale. And the title goes back to the bank. Now, the house is probably worth maybe a little bit more than what they bought it back for, but not a whole lot. I think it's pretty maxed out at this point. And so now the question is, will the McBrooms move out voluntarily? Will they need to be evicted? I deal with eviction cases all the time. You can't just come in and throw them out or lock them out. They have to actually go through the whole legal process. So if the McBrooms don't agree to voluntarily vacate, then the bank will have to go through the eviction process, which means they'll actually have to file an eviction action in court in order to get a judgment that they can then turn over to a sheriff or a constable, who would then give notice to the McBrooms. Usually it's like 48 hours that they're going to physically take them out of the house. They would come, they would actually make them leave, they would take all of their belongings out, they would get put into storage. Brooms would be responsible for the cost of storage, and the bank would change the locks, and that would be the end of it. So now we're going to have to wait and see what they decide to do, whether they decide to go quietly, whether they decide to make a fuss. But my big interest is I want to see how they're going to spin this, because we've seen them go on and on now for weeks and months that, oh, it's rumors, don't listen to the haters, oh, it's lies, don't talk crap about our family, all this stuff. And it's like, well, it's obviously true. And so now what happens? So now I'm wondering, is there more legal action coming in the future? Like, are their cars paid for? Do they have loans on the cars that are going to get called back? Can they maybe not afford even to make payments on something like that? Are they going to be forced to sell possessions in order to raise money? I don't know, because at this point, obviously their credit is going to be trashed in terms of borrowing a mortgage. So it'll really depend on whether they have somebody to help them buy a house, or whether there's money stashed away somewhere we don't know about, because they're not going to be able to get a loan to buy a new house. And they didn't, like I said, they didn't get any money from this sale. So that's it. The bell is rung. The hourglass has run out. McBrooms are done as far as the house that they're in now, and we'll have to see where it goes. I will keep you posted. I thank you for watching. Also, if you stay put for just a second, there is another cat introduction. I'm talked about Chloe before, but I'm actually going to introduce you to Chloe. And again, thank you for watching. Please hit the thumbs up. I would really appreciate it, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thanks. So for today's cat introduction, I would like to introduce you to Chloe. This is Chloe. Chloe, say hi. Hi, Chloe. Chloe's the cat I had mentioned in one of my past videos, and she was a feral cat. And when I got her, she had been caught in a trap, and she had to have one of her toes amputated. She had to have 2 surgeries, which kind of traumatized her. And when I got her, they were going to euthanize her. and she was suffering from PTSD. And whenever I would try to approach her, I had isolated her in a bathroom downstairs. And whenever I would try to approach her, she would literally attack me and scratch me and bite me and make my arms and legs bleed. And I had spent about 2 days trying to approach her, connect with her. And when it didn't work, I called the rescue that had facilitated the adoption through New York Animal Control and told them that for the first time ever, I was going to have to return a cat, that I really didn't think I was going to be able to handle her, that she just was too vicious. And that night, I didn't sleep at all that night. And when I got up the next day, I determined that I was going to keep her because I knew 2 things. First is I never go back on a commitment. When I adopt a cat, it's forever. And the other thing was I knew if I sent her back, she was too difficult for anyone but a very experienced person to handle. So I said, I can't send her. She'll be killed if I send her back. And so I spent about 6 months where I worked with her every day, just talking to her and being, they know how to totally. So anyways, for 6 months, I spent every day a little time each day with her. And after 6 months, she was finally a changed cat. And as you can see, she's extremely affectionate now. And whenever I come into the kitchen, which is like her domain, and I come in, she puts her 2 paws up on my leg, and she wants to be picked up. And when I pick her up, she's like this. She rests her head on my shoulder, and she purrs and purrs and puts her paws on my shoulder. And if she's not ready to get down and I try to put her down, she holds on for dear life. She lets me know when she's ready to get down, basically. But she's the best little cat in the world, and another one of my success stories. Thank you for letting me share that with you. I'll introduce you to another cat. We still have like another 14 to go, 13 to go in the next video. But thanks for watching.
Pretty please. Subscribe, like, and hit the bell. I get a treat for every new sub. Thank you.